Philosophically, I am more of a pessimist and lean towards Arthur Schopenhauer's philosophy, but Friedrich Nietzsche is interesting as well, and he does help me to cope in some ways, although there are some significant problems with what he's advocating that I cannot ignore, so let's talk about it. Basically, in a nutshell, Nietzsche is an anti-realist or an existentialist, although existentialism didn't really exist during Nietzsche's time, but Nietzsche's ideas heavily influenced existentialist thinkers. In terms of moral values like good and evil, Nietzsche thinks they are not objective truths, but rather historically and psychologically constructed concepts, often born from power dynamics and the needs of particular social groups. He argues that there are at least two types of morality, master morality and serf morality. Master morality has values like strength, nobility, and pride coming from the aristocracy of society, while serf morality values things like humility, kindness, and pity that arose from the oppressed lower classes, particularly early Christians. This is all fine, and so far I kind of agree with Nietzsche's ideas. But while morals seem to be subjective to a certain degree, I would say that suffering is real and cannot always be rationalized away. Both the master and the serf would scream in agony if they took an axe to the leg. Some forms of suffering are subjective, like if an aristocrat had to live in a small one-bedroom apartment, they might feel bad, while for a serf it might be an upgrade or an improvement to their life. However, extreme physical pain is something most humans share a distaste for, regardless of our position in society or our social group. We all want to avoid it as it is biologically grounded rather than some abstract concept. Now, Nietzsche might say that suffering isn't inherently bad. He would possibly argue that suffering can be a source of strength, growth, and creativity. The quote, "What does not kill me makes me stronger," is actually from Nietzsche. But not all suffering is profitable. We cannot always extract value from these experiences. Sometimes bad things just happen, and it may leave us in a worse position than before, and we gain nothing from the suffering. From my discussions with AI regarding this topic, it did say that Nietzsche admired cruelty and hardness as signs of vitality. I guess I can admire some people that go through hardship and persevere. The honey badger is one of my favorite animals, and it is a tough creature. But I think Nietzsche himself experienced pointless suffering towards the end of his life and actually had to rely on the kindness of other people to live. Nietzsche suffered from health problems, both mental and physical, and was cared for by his mother and his sister, and his mother was a devout Christian. Then Nietzsche also seems to glorify the exceptional individuals of society such as Goethe, Beethoven, and Napoleon. He also coined the term Übermensch, which means superhuman in German. But while these exceptional people do accomplish great things, they don't do it in a vacuum. For example, Napoleon needed regular soldiers and citizens to fight his wars. Beethoven wouldn't have been able to compose his music without people who invented and manufactured musical instruments. Basically, master morality is great if you are on the top, if you are strong and able to maintain this strength indefinitely. But life happens, and the strong can become weak, much like in Nietzsche's case when he succumbed to mental and physical disease and had to be cared for by his Christian mother. For better or worse, there may come a time in our lives when we need mercy, when we are the losers. Remember to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts about Nietzsche's philosophy in the comments. See you in the next video. Okay, thanks, bye.